The recruits had been restless all morning, standing in line beneath the merciless sun. Most of them were barely out of high school, tall, lanky, full of bravado they hadn't yet earned. That's when they saw him. An old man, his back slightly bent, his cap pulled low. His boots were scuffed, his jacket patched in more places than it wasn't. He moved slow, deliberate. To them, he looked like someone's grandfather who had wandered too far from the porch. And when the drill instructor handed him a rifle, a few couldn't help but smirk. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. They thought the weapon would weigh heavy in his hands, that his fingers might fumble over the safety. But he cradled it as though it were an old friend he hadn't seen in years. His eyes, sharp, pale, unblinking, locked on the distant target. The laughter around him was quiet, but it was there, a current of arrogance humming in the air. Private Collins leaned to his buddy. Bet he misses every shot. The old man heard it. He didn't react, but something in his posture shifted, just slightly, like a rope tightening before a storm. The range fell still. The sun hung low, casting a hard glare off the steel. Silhouette 200 yards away. Dust floated in the air, shimmering like ghostly memories. The old man exhaled, the sound barely audible, yet it seemed to quiet even the wind. He remembered another rifle, another field, decades ago. The cries, the chaos, the stench of smoke. Young men's faces, some frightened, some fierce. He remembered. The ones who didn't make it home. This moment wasn't about showing off. It was about honoring them. He lifted the rifle to his shoulder. Slow, smooth. Every movement spoke of muscle memory etched into bone. The smirks faded, replaced by a hesitant curiosity. The recruits watched his finger hover over the trigger, not trembling, not rushed, but steady, as though time itself was waiting for him. The shot broke the silence. And the target, bolted firm to its stand, rocked back violently. The metal frame groaned, and, in an almost surreal moment, the entire thing toppled over, hitting the dirt with a hollow clang. N01 spoke. Even the drill instructor stood frozen, his mouth just slightly open. Then, as if some unseen switch had been flipped, the silence fractured into a ripple of murmurs. A few clapped. Some just stared, their earlier smugness replaced by something quieter. Respect. The old man lowered the rifle, his expression unchanged. He didn't need applause. He didn't need to explain. He simply handed it back, nodded once to the instructor, and started walking away. But Collins called out, "Sir, where did you learn to shoot like that?" The old man paused, his back still to them. "Far from here. Long before any of you were born." His voice carried a weight that silenced the range again. For a moment, the recruits felt the strange collision of pride and humility. They had been so quick to measure a man by his years, his posture, his pace. Now they wondered how many battles he'd fought, what sacrifices he'd made, what ghosts he carried quietly in his chest. The drill instructor finally spoke, his tone harder now. "Lesson for you all, never underestimate the quiet ones. They've seen more than you can imagine." The old veteran didn't look back as he reached the edge of the field, but in his mind he could still see the faces of his brothers in arms, and he knew, for them, he'd just fired one more shot, because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And sometimes, respect is earned in a single breath, a single shot, that silences a crowd. If this story moved you, share it with someone who could use the reminder, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Your comments mean more than you know.